Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to another episode or video or live stream of Let's Build Twitter Live. So last time we finally got the scheduled tweet basically working. Today we're going to go ahead and continue working on the emoji. I would say today will be a good day if we can get the emoji popping up and just displaying some emojis. So I did do a little bit of research about what Twitter's doing. So if we had to go back and make a couple of changes, we definitely will. But I think if we can get the Twitter showing today, that'd be a pretty big win. So let's go ahead and hop back into the code and just take a look what we can do. So we have our emoji drop down here and there's nothing inside of it. So let's go ahead and make these into divs. So div and div. And then this will be a class name equal to emoji dash drop down. And we'll have to figure out exactly how we want to deal with this. So we're going to probably want a position absolute on this. And I'd really like to be able to get it working. So I'm going to go ahead and make a .css for this already. So normally I do all of the styling later, but I want to at least get the drop down showing up. So dropdown.tsx. Oh, actually it's CSS. And then let's go ahead and import that. So we'll go ahead and import, imports dot slash emoji drop down dot css. Save this. So let's go ahead and just grab this so I know exactly how big it is and everything else, or at least I had seen how big it was. So let's go ahead and grab this. So we're gonna say position. We're gonna try to do a position absolute. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. But position absolute, and then we'll also probably have like a z index of like 50 or something. I don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but let's just say 50. Although I have a feeling that this is gonna scuff, right? I guess it won't matter. We'll have to see how this goes. Because I have a feeling that if we do something, and I know you guys can't see this. Yeah, so we'll have to mess with it and see what happens. But let me go ahead and just see how big this guy is. Maybe. Inspect the element. Let's see. How big are you? So it's 52 or 320 wide. I think it's 320 by 400. So width is 320 px. Height is 400 px. And this guy has like a box shadow on it. And I need to take a look at my box shadows. I think I have a box shadow because isn't there another one that drops down? Maybe there's not. Nope, because that just adds a pole, so that doesn't do it. Okay, so let me look up the box shadow I normally use. Actually, I'm just going to look up CSS box shadows and grab one that looks decent. So I'm just gonna copy one of these box shadows. I'm just gonna grab the basic one and paste it in here. So very basic box shadow, and then we get rid of this. And so now we should be able to see it better. So now at the very least we should have some sort of div in here. So let's just open up our Chrome and see what happens. Okay, so you can see here it is. So it looks like it's going to be based off of the feed post creator, because I'm guessing that's where it's at. So we can go ahead, and the only thing I'm a little bit worried about is the positioning. But if we go ahead and do the positioning, so we'll say top, let's say top like 100% and then left 50%. So let's try to put it in the middle. And we might have to try to test this and do some stuff. And now I lost it. So it might have, okay, so it went all the way down here. So that's obviously way too far. So if we say top 50, left 50. And this is going to be a lot of just testing stuff. So I'm going to have to cut some of this out. Okay, so there we are. So we want it up into, so we need to bring it left some more. So left maybe 30%. Now here's the thing that kind of worries me is it's not based off of this area, so that could be an issue. And this is see-through, so we need like a background color of white. Background color of white. Okay. Cool. And then it also needs a border radius. I have no idea what the border radius is, but it's pretty, the border radius is pretty aggressive. Maybe I can find what the border radius is on this. What is going on? My Twitter is going crazy. Give me one moment. So it's pretty aggressive. Let's see. Does this show us anything? (16px). Let's go ahead and say border radius 16px. Border radius 16px. Let's also throw a border none on there. So border none just to be safe. And then we just need to get it actually going into where it's supposed to be. So now you can see it's got some rounded corners, and we might need to slightly change the drop shadow, but it is what it is. So top is also way too much. Let's say like 30-30 and just see where this goes, and we'll just keep tweaking it from here. So 30 is not quite it. So top, let's say like 25, and then we'll kind of move it and get it to be where it's supposed to be. So that's obviously a little bit too much, so maybe like 28. And I know this is not great for editing, but it is what it is. So that is probably just about right. It's supposed to be just like on this line or right below the line. So realistically, it could probably be like 27 and call it a day. And then let's move this to the left a little bit more. So maybe like 35 and see what it looks like. So that is about where it needs to be. It just needs to move to the right just a little bit more. So let's say like 40%, and then we'll tweak it slowly as we go. So, okay, that's obviously too much. So maybe like 38. And this is not an exact science, so that's the only thing. So that's not enough either. So 37 maybe. I swear that we just did 35, but it might need to be like 36. And we're probably not going to get it perfect, but I think that's where we're going to leave it. And honestly, I want it down a little bit more. So if we did like 27.5 or something, just to get it that little bit more. And I think that we can live with that. It's not perfect. Also, Twitter has like a little like triangle thing, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it plain Jane. So, let's see. I can't tell if there's a border radius at the top. I'm sure there is. Yeah, there is. Okay. And then we need to change the border radius slightly, and it needs to be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to change it slightly as well. So I'm going to change the box shadow to this one I just copied. And this one's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And we might need to just change the color a little bit. So like maybe make this like 0.2 just to get it a little less like dark, more or less. And now you could see it a little bit better. And I think that's probably good. We could make it maybe like 10 and 10. That way it's kind of even all the way around. And that did not do what I expected it to. So, I'll have to take a look more into this. But I think that this will probably be good. I think we'll keep this as is. So now I want to go ahead and start getting some actual emojis and stuff in there. So this has like a top section, a middle section, and then a bottom section. So we'll go ahead and say div class name equal to emoji drop down top, and the top has a search bar. So this just be an input, I guess, or How do we want to do this? Because it does also have a thing like a. This is a actually. Ooh, this is basically a validated input or a text input, except it has rounded edges, which these do not have. Because text input just does nothing, I think. I don't think it can take in any other stuff. I don't think validated text input does either, so validated text input, it does take in attributes, but that's for that. And then validated inputs, I don't think this takes in a style, does it? No, it just takes in data label. Yeah, so we might have to do something funky with this, because whenever you click on it, it does add. Although we could probably just change the border rate color, because it doesn't actually have a quote unquote like valid or invalid. So I'm trying to think about what we want to do here. We'll just say, I guess, a div with a class name equal to emoji dash drop dash down dash search border. I think my headphones are dying, unfortunately. We'll have an input, and this one will have a class name equal to emoji dash drop down dash search, and maybe we have an ID equal to emoji dash search, and then we'll need like an on change or a ref or something in here. I think it changes as you type in it. Yeah, so we'll need an on change that we'll deal with later. So on change is equal to this, and we'll set that up a little bit later. I'm trying to think what else we might need on this. I think this might be everything that we need. We also need a search icon. So let me go ahead and take a look at our Material UI icons. I'm sure there's a search, an hourglass search. Whoops, wrong button. Let me just look for search. Oh, it reloaded for some reason. So does this search hourglass face the same way? It's slightly thicker, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the Material UI, and I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in here. So here's our search icon. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it in there. We'll probably have to change the sizing and stuff, but again, we'll deal with styling a little bit later. Search icon, and then this will need like a display flex to make that work properly, but again, we'll deal with it. And then below the search bar, we have like the different icons, I guess you could say, or the different images, I guess. And I think that our list with modifier JSON has links to images or something, because there's emoji, and I thought there was image, but maybe there's not. So we might go back in and either find these specific images or do something else, because we need the actual like PNGs of them. So actually, let's go ahead and just take a look. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the emoji JSON again. Emoji, whoops, JSON. And I'll try to find that list that I was using yesterday. I don't remember who created it, so I'll have to look. Okay, it's definitely not this one, because there's one that had, excuse me, is it this? Here we go. We want one with images, and I thought that there's one with images, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's see, category only .modifiers.json. And there might not be one with images, I guess. Maybe I'm just crazy. When we look at the array.json again, so this one just has the all of the emojis with nothing else. List.json. I thought list.json with images. I think this is what we want. Let's view raw. Does this have links to images though? That's the question. It does, and it's gross. But I think we can deal with it because we just need a few of these basically. So what do we want to do here? Because these are disgusting. I might go ahead and download this again. Save as list with images, and I'm gonna go ahead and let me save this into our file really quick. Actually, this is on my desktop. Okay, this will be in front end, and then source assets, and then we have our list with images. Okay, so like I said, these are really ugly. So if we come in here, you can see our Apple, Google, Windows, yada yada yada. We'll probably just use Windows for all of them. Honestly, I don't know, but cool. So now what we need to go and do from here is basically figure out which ones Twitter uses for each one. So it doesn't say, but the first one is, I'm pretty sure, grinning face. So basically we need to go and get each one of these that we need. So let's go ahead and go to emoji utils, I guess, and what we'll go ahead and do, the only issue is that, you know what, we'll deal with the bigger issues later, and for now we're just gonna do this. Yeah, it won't even be an issue, I don't think. So what we'll do is we'll say export const generate top row, and we'll go ahead and do this. I'm just going to create an array based off of the other one. So I'm going to say const emojis. Actually, we're going to say import data with images from / assets / list with images.json, and then const emojis underscore with img is equal to data. Although, yeah, I think we still want to do data with img.emojis. Although, do we not have .emojis in there? So what is this? Yeah, .emojis. So what's going on with this? Data with image .emojis. Properties emojis does not exist on object. So why does this one work? Import data from that. Didn't spell anything wrong. So apparently this one doesn't want to work for some reason, so that's terrific. Let me look, I guess. So emojis with image is equal to, so you don't think anything exists? Doesn't see anything. Data with image dot. Interesting, but this one works. Const emojis data.emojis works just fine. So I'm not sure why this one won't work. Interesting. And this one's broken because we started making a div, so we'll get rid of that. I don't know why this one won't work whenever data works. What if we do this, do that, whoops, and do this? Maybe. Why can I not click on this? Excuse me. Strange. Is this not a proper JSON? This looks right. Emojis colon array. What does this one look like? This one looks the exact same. So why is this one not working? This one looks different though. Because see how this one isn't yellow? And this one's yellow. It's almost like this one is missing. Although I think it's just like that because it turned off all the highlighting and stuff. If we scroll down to the bottom, it's got this guy. Very strange that it won't let me choose emojis. This one's a little bit perplexing to me because I don't see why it wouldn't let me do it whenever it let me do it just fine before. It just says property emojis does not exist on type nothing. See, this one understands that emojis has all of this. So why can't this one understand data with image? What am I missing here? I'm missing something that is probably obvious that I can't figure out right now. This with images.json. It's there. Like, I want a console.log d to see what happens. Oops. Let's console.log d. Like, what is going on with this? Let's see if this prints it at least. Let's go back into emoji dropdown and let's go and import the generate top row. Let's go ahead and console.log generate top row. Let's just do it console.logs. See if it console.logs anything. Inspect, that's obviously ugly. Console, refresh. We get it right here. Everything's here. Emojis. Does it have the image? Images, yeah. So why can it not figure out, like if we import it in here, imports data from /assets/ and then list with images. If we console.log and then data.emojis, is it because it's too big? Like, is the JSON just too big to be able to do this? Do we need to turn on that one thing? Can we forcefully enable it? And then will it work? List with images. Like if we use this thing here, and then we say emoji utils, and we say const emojis underscore img is equal to d dot emojis. Whoops. No, it still doesn't want to work. Although it's not, there's no error anymore. It says there's an error in here, but there's no error inside the console. I think it has to do with how big this is. Is there a smaller one? Let's see. Let's see what other JSONs there are. Categories with images. How big is this one? 34 megabytes. How big is this one? I think that the images are just too much. So we might go ahead and do is we might just go ahead and grab the images for the ones that we need, just because we only need like so many of them. We only need, let me check Twitter. We only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Let's just go ahead and find the 9 that we need. The first one's called grinning face. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this out of here. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete list with images. Now the issue is that Twitter uses the images instead of the actual emojis. So we might have to go through and like, you know, use the images instead of the emojis, which if we can't get the images out of this guy, then that's obviously a problem. So I don't know what we're gonna do about that. If we say emoji underscore img, yeah, it's complaining. But what happens if we come in here and refresh? Okay, so it does complain. Well, actually, I spelled this wrong. Emojis underscore img. So I might just have to ignore this manually. Refresh. Ooh. It says undefined. So it didn't print anything. Well, actually, are we printing in here anymore? We didn't print anything. Console.log, and we'll say generate top row. We might decide to ignore this. So we come back in here, refresh. Oh, we're not returning anything. Return. Well, I guess we'll do this instead. Return emojis underscore img. So if we do that, come in here and refresh. Do we get the emojis with the images? And am I calling this wrong? I am calling this wrong. Try this again. Yes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Get rid of this. And let's get rid of this. We're gonna import data with images from // assets / list with images. And apparently this is just too big, so I'm gonna try to figure out a way to ignore this underscore img is equal to data.emojis, and now it just pops up. I don't know what's going on. That did not work like 2 seconds ago. Maybe it just took VS Code that long to figure out what's going on, but it is what it is. So now we're gonna go ahead and say const, and we're gonna say const images is going to be a string array, and it's going to equal to a new array. And we're going to say images dot push, and we need to go ahead and say emojis underscore img dot We're gonna have to loop through each of these basically and find the specific ones. We're gonna say like for let I or let image, actually say let emoji. I think it's in emojis underscore img. I always forget for in versus for of. So we're gonna say if emoji dot, and then we want name. It doesn't recognize dot name. So maybe it is of. Let emojis of this. Although that won't work either, right? Because, oh yeah, that's right, because it is an array. I'm just stupid, it's not an object. So we want emoji.name to equal, and actually, here's the issue. We need like several ones, so we need like the clock or whatever this is. What is this one called? So it looks like it's this one. Clock face 2 o'clock. So if emoji name is equal to, and I'm guessing it's lowercase, so let's go ahead. I'm just gonna do a control find on the thing that I just downloaded from. Never mind, no I'm not, because I closed out of it like an idiot. Let me go back to my history and open that back up. I'm gonna control find just to see if I can find what I'm looking for. Control find clock face 2 o'clock. Is that what it was? Let me double check here. Name is clock face 2 o'clock. Yeah, so clock face 2 o'clock doesn't pop up anything. What about clock? Clock doesn't pop up anything. Oh, there we go. Alarm clock, timer clock, 12 o'clock. Okay, so it's gonna be under 2 o'clock is the name. So emoji equal to 2 o'clock. This is why I wanted to check. 2 o'clock. Or so the next one is like grinning, I think. So I think it might be grinning face. It's like the very first emoji, I think, is the first one. Whoops. And let me double check Twitter. Yep, the first one is grinning face or grinning face. The next one's like a bear. And I don't know what this is. This one's just bear face maybe. So let's search bear face in here. So bear face. Is it just bear? There's literally so many GIFs and stuff that this takes forever to search for anything. Bear. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. There's apparently a million just bears inside of these random whatever this is called, image text. So let me go ahead and find the bear. See what the name of it actually is. So yeah, this one is just called bear, it looks like. So our name is bear, or next one's hamburger, I'm guessing. Let's see if it's just called hamburger. Yep. Or name is hamburger. Or the only issue is that this needs to be in the correct like slot, I guess. So hopefully this is in the right order. Next we have, like, I'm guessing this is just soccer ball, but we can go ahead and look. So let's check soccer ball. So, or name is soccer ball. Or so on Twitter it's called oncoming automobile. That's what it's called here. Oncoming automobile. Or I'm guessing this is just light bulb, I'm not sure. Electric light bulb, let's look up light bulb. Yep, or light bulb. This is really ugly, but it is what it is. I have no idea what this thing is, so let me look through here. This input symbol. Let's look for input symbol. So this one's just called input symbols. So or input symbols. And then last one is some sort of flag. Red flag. Triangular flag on post. Let's see. Triangular. Does that pop anything up? Except I spelled it wrong. Triangular. We might just have to scroll through all the flags to find the correct flag for this last one, but it's a price I'm willing to pay, I guess, to get this working. So there is one just called triangular flag. So that's what we're gonna try. Triangular flag. I gotta spell it right. I think I spelled it right. So if it's one of those, we're gonna go ahead and push, and we're gonna say images.push, and theoretically we should probably check the supported platform. So whatever the supported platform is, so I'm gonna say supported, and then Apple or Windows, and that should be fine. So we're gonna say image.push emoji dot, and then there should be, although I don't see image in here, which is not good. Do we grab the wrong one? We did. Data with image. That's why it was working. So is there a way for us to just straight up ignore this? Can I just ignore this? Please, can I just ignore this? Source action. No, well, let me do that. So I really don't want this error here. Whatever. So we're gonna say emoji dot, and this is called images, I think. Images dot, except we can't do a dot, so this is gonna be, it's an object, so we should be able to say supported, like so. So we're gonna push that, and we're gonna return this array of images. So we'll see what this looks like. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, and I'm hoping there's a way to make it so we can ignore this, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and hop into, ooh, now it's mad about this. Or is it, implicitly has any type. So we're going to do that stupid thing again where we say let images equal to any, right? And we're gonna have to say equal to emoji dot images, and this is probably not gonna work either, just because of the fact that it doesn't even think that emojis exist. I mean, it went away, I guess. So we'll try that, and we'll just see what this returns. Let's go back into our emoji dropdown, and let's set up a use effect in here just to test it out. I know I had one in here before and I deleted it, but it is what it is. And set this up. And let's just go ahead and console.log what comes out of generate top row. And hopefully there's like 9 things in there. And hopefully there's 9 images. And then we're gonna have to figure out a way to deal with this, but it is what it is. I think Twitter uses divs and stuff, so we'll see what happens here. I'm not worried about styling it perfectly, but I just want to get them up. So we come in here. There's a bunch of things in here, but ooh, it says that there's 1,800, so that's no bueno. It's 1874. So why did you put every single one in there? Why? What is the name here? Actually, we'll say emoji.name. His name doesn't exist. What is the name? Let's see here. None of these match. So why are we inside the if statement? Look at all these that do not match whatsoever. So, oh no. That wouldn't make any sense though. But we're gonna have to do this, right? So copy, or this, or that, or this. Although I still don't understand how in the world any of these passed anyway. Because these all should have been false. Because none of these matched. But let's try again, I guess, and let's see what it pops out this time. Okay, there's 8 this time. I think there should have been 9, unless I'm wrong. Let me double check. Pretty sure it should be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there should be 9. I don't know which one I'm missing. So what we're gonna have to do is we're going to have a div with the style to see which one we're missing. So let's go ahead and just throw these in here. So the reason why I set this up is so I can come, and maybe it's like 2 o'clock, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's gotta be 2 o'clock because the rest of these look fine. Either that's triangular flag. I could have spelled that wrong. But let's come back into the drop down and here. So the top will have a div, the class name equal to emoji dash drop down dash categories, maybe. So that's what these are, our categories. And then let's just go ahead and say we're gonna say generates top row dot map and map each image to a div, and we're gonna have a style equal to, and then inside here let's go ahead and set this up, and we need to return this, so let's return this div and do div, and then we're gonna have a style with background image. There should be background image colon, and then I need to look up, I think it's like URL maybe, and then it's gonna be image or something like that, although it does not like that. Do we have to do this? We might have to do this. And this might not even be how we do it either, because also you gotta keep in mind that we're using a whatever the type of image this is. I don't know what type of image this is, I forget. Oh, I got a bunch of errors. Okay, that's fine, I don't care. Okay, so they're not showing up. Although it's printing, oh, it's printing just everything twice. Yeah, I can't find 2 o'clock. So, how to, let's say CSS background image from data : image / png - base 64. How do I get this to work? Yeah, it just says to use URL. So it says to use URL, but you might have to put it, so we might have to wrap it inside of quotes, I guess. So we might have to do something like this, which is really silly. Let's see what happens now. Still nothing. Interesting. It's definitely getting called because it's printing out all of those things. So let's just double check that actually is getting called, I guess. This should definitely be returning divs with background. Is it because it doesn't have a size, maybe? So excuse me, let's try width. And like 20px. Now have the hiccups. And height 20px. Had a coughing fit, now I got the hiccups, excuse me. Let's try putting a height and width on that. Okay. Yes. So those do not look like the images that I'm looking for. Although actually they do. You know what? They're just super big. How do we fit the image in there? So let's say fit image and background CSS. So we can say background size cover. Let's try that. So background size. So let's go down to background size. Let's try cover. And these are ones that we could add in the, probably in the class that we throw on this later on. Okay, so that works. So yeah, so 2 o'clock does not work. So let's check 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock, I swear that whenever we looked up 2 o'clock, it popped up. So let me go ahead and search 2 o'clock again. Unless that's a different, maybe this is a different backtick. No, there's a space maybe. Let's try adding a space and see if that does it. Give it a quick refresh. Nope, still can't find 2 o'clock. So let's try using like the special backtick looking thing. Maybe for some reason they used a weird symbol. Yeah, so that symbol is different. And apparently it does not like it. So let's see if it shows up now. So 2 o'clock does show up, but it's not in the right order. Okay. So 2 o'clock should be first. So now I need to figure out a way to basically rearrange these. But I think the rest of these are in the right order. So if I look at Twitter, it should be the face, it should be the bear, it should be the hamburger. Oh, I guess the next one should be soccer ball. And then automobile, and then light bulb, and then this. So let's say we might need to, how do I want to do this? Because this one should be 0, so I might have to modify this again, where it says like if name is 2 o'clock and Well, actually, no. If name is 2 o'clock, we might need to make these all into their own if statements. And this is going to get gross. So if this, then we want to say images of 0 is equal to emoji dot image. And then, so we need to also bring this out, let images, like so, to the top of this. And then we'll say, instead of this, we'll say images and then supported. And then do this. So now basically we'll put it where it's supposed to go. So if it's this one, it should go here. If name is grinning face, we can actually just delete this. So if name is grinning face, then it should go images 1. So let's copy this. And this should go images 1. There's probably a lot better way to do this, but it is what it is. If name is bear, then this should go in 2. So images 2 is equal to images support. So let's copy and paste this. All right, and then next is the hamburger. And I have these in the right order, so I can basically just copy paste these. So if our emoji name is equal to hamburger, let's get rid of these. So if our emoji name is equal to hamburger, then it's gonna go into images 3 slot. So copy in images 3. Next, if our emoji name is soccer ball, it's gonna go into emojis 4. And this will be nice because they don't actually get found in the right order. So this will fix this. So 4, and then, and this is really ugly, but I don't really care. Next is if it's oncoming automobile, we'll put it in slot 5. So copy this, paste this, and it will go into slot 5. And then we're almost done here. If, whoops, if it is a light bulb, then it'll go into slot 6. So images 6. Hopefully I didn't miss one. No, I didn't, because it should go to 8, so we're good. And then if the emoji.name is input symbols, then it'll go into slot 7, the second to last. And this is really ugly, I know, but this is the easiest way to make sure that they're in the right order. And finally, if our emoji name is equal to triangular flag, we're going to push it into slot 8. And let's do this, and do all of this and get rid of that. Return our images. So this made it a lot uglier, but it should be in the correct order now. So let's just go ahead and double check. So now we have the time like we expect. We have this, and this. And then basically we should be able to, I'm not sure how it's going to work whenever we have a recent. So let me just throw a couple of these in here and refresh. And I'm just going to take a peek really quick. My Twitter is running really slow. Recent still isn't working. But what we might do is we might not even do a recent, honestly. We might say screw it and not even make the recent work. There we go. So yeah, so on hover and whenever it's active, it'll be one thing. So we'll need to do some sort of class on there that basically makes it so that it's a grayscale. And I looked it up. So I looked up how to do this, but we want to also make the image black and white in the background. I don't know if we can make the background image black and white, but there is a, and maybe I look that up, CSS make background image black and white, because basically we want those to be black and white. It looks like you can still do filter grayscale 100%. So I'm curious to see if we do that, and I'm just gonna try it out really quick. So I'm gonna add one more. So I'm gonna say Filter grayscale 100%. We're gonna go ahead and make it like that. And let's see if the background image goes to black and white, or if we're gonna do some other weird tricks. Yeah, so basically whenever it's deactive, and I'm sorry I got away from my mic a little bit. Whenever we're deactive, we're gonna have it black and white, and whenever we're active, it's going to be the color. So then we'll have to figure out on hover on each of these, we'll basically have to turn off the grayscale and a couple other things. And there's going to be some background and stuff like that. But I just want this like basically up and running and displaying the emojis. So I'm not that concerned about making it work perfectly. And then there's also like underneath this, actually it'd be in the middle part. Let me look at Twitter again. So yeah, it's inside the middle part. So this is good to go for this. We're going to do probably a little bit of work to get this fully working, but I think I'm fine with that for now because I just want to get the emojis up. So div class name equal to, and this is going to be, we'll call this emoji dash drop down, and this will be called selector maybe, or actually we'll call this, yeah, let's call this selector because this is where all the emojis are going to be. So we're going to have like a recent section, but this is going to be commented out because it's going to be to do. So I'm just going to say to do recent section, and I'm not going to do the recent section at this moment, but then below the recent section we're going to have a bunch of different sections. So maybe we have a div class name equal to emoji drop down selector section, and then we might also need a ID, and then the ID would be like smileys and people. So these will be the different sections, and then here we're gonna map through each of those other things. So first we have smileys and people, and let me look at the other sections that we have really quick. I'm gonna copy and paste these. So next one is animals and nature. So copy this, paste this. So this will be animals and nature. So animals and nature, and this is where all those other functions that we created in the previous stream are gonna come in handy. After animals and nature, it's food and drink. So food and drink. And the reason why I'm doing these is so we can navigate directly to them. I believe this is a trait that you can basically set it up to navigate to a specific ID. I'm not 100% sure, so we're going to look into that, but I'm pretty sure there's a way. And then also it should allow us to be able to know whenever we have basically intersected, is what I'm trying to think of, because it's also supposed to basically update the selected at the top. So it's going to be important to know when we intersect. So activity, again, we'll look into doing all of this down the road in a later stream. I just want to get basically all of this stuff popping up. So next is activity and places, or travel and places. But it is also good to have all of this laid out so it's ready for whenever we go through and do all this extra work. Okay, so after travel and places is objects. So objects, change this one. Objects, after objects, it is, oh, that was objects. After objects is symbols. Let's copy this. And then this will be symbols. Symbols, and then lastly it's just called flags, I think. Yeah, last one's called flags. So theoretically I could have probably made this a special component, and maybe I will go through and make it a special component later on, but for now I just kind of want to get these displayed like I said, and this is probably going to break big time. And then after this, so below our, so emoji top, whoops, I need to move this outside of top, so let me copy this. I put this in the wrong spot. This needs to go outside top, so here, and then I don't know why that scuffed so bad, so that's cool. Now I gotta fix all of these. You love to see it. And I know there's an easy way to do this. I just don't ever remember what the hotkey is. Let me fix these really quick. Okay, finally we have the bottom. So div class name equal to emoji dash drop down. And then this will be bottom. And the bottom is going to have basically a selector, and this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how we're going to do this selector. I guess it might be easier than I think. And it's going to have like the current emoji that we're looking at. So this will be interesting because this is going to have to be like we're going to figure out some way to make it so we can hover and know. And this one, I think we're going to need all of the images again. Oh, and Twitter crash, terrific. So that one would be interesting to figure out how we're going to set that up. But like I said, all I want to do right now is just figure out all I want to do is figure out how to get all of these showing. So basically, last episode we created those things. So generate smileys and people. So we should be able to say dot map, and then let's go ahead and just map, and we'll map each emoji. And right now these are just gonna have, I guess let's just say a div with a class. Sure, div with the class name equal to, I don't know why it's mad at emoji. Oh, it's because I didn't do this all the way proper. So let's fix this. So map emoji, and we're gonna do a div with a class name equal to emoji dash drop down. Oops, drop down dash emoji. And then inside of this guy, what is the problem? I don't know. It doesn't want to close on its own, I guess. We're gonna have the emoji, because this should just be a text. So now let's go ahead and see if we can at least map through, and it's gonna be really bad right now. I'm gonna style it up a little bit just to make sure it looks nicer, but let's just see. Yep, so of course there's some that are kind of scuffed, and I don't love like these ones that are like I don't know like what's going on with these ones really. And there's some that are still showing up that shouldn't be, like this guy should not be there, this is not supported, this guy and this guy, so on and so forth. So also I'm not sure like what's good with this guy. Let me see. It might just be like a weird Windows thing, honestly. I think this is why Twitter uses the image itself. I'm trying to see if I can find the one that's even referring to, because I don't see. It might be exhaling, I guess. But yeah, I don't even see the one that even like refers to on here. The thing is, I really should go through and determine the exact ones that Twitter does use. But like that is so much work, obviously. But so obviously there's ones that aren't quite getting filtered out like they're supposed to, which I'm not sure what the deal is with that, and I'm not sure what the deal is with like this guy. And maybe I should look for ones that are like good on Windows and Twitter. Like I don't know what this heart fire one is. If I scroll down, can I find like a heart on fire in here? Yeah, there's no like heart on fire in here. And I wonder if there's like a Twitter emoji JSON. Like is there like a specific emoji list for Twitter itself? No, okay. So I might have to make some sort of scraper that tells me exactly which ones Twitter uses. because this is a little bit odd. And we could filter out or do something, or I might just go through and honestly what I might do is I might make the scraper go through and make the list, update this JSON to be exactly what we need. But for the time being, let's just go ahead and work with what we have, and then we can go ahead and fix it later. So obviously this is supposed to be like sideways, and there's supposed to be some CSS, and that's kind of what I want to work on, is getting this to at least look decent. I'm not sure this is going to add it up, but the first issue is that this top row should go across the top, obviously. So let's go ahead and deal with this. So I really want to get, like, in general, the emojis working. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. So emoji drop down categories. Let's copy this really quick, and we probably do want a style or something on this, but again, we'll deal with some of the nitty gritty later. So we're gonna do this. So this is gonna be a width of 100%. Height will just be like, I can actually see how high Twitter is real quick. So Twitter's is about, I guess I can't actually see how high it is because there's no actual div on it. Let's see here. Here's the div. 32 pixels. That's reasonable. 32 px. Display will be flex. And we will justify content. We'll justify content spaced evenly. And then we'll also align items in the center. And I don't think we need any padding on this. We might add some, but I think this will probably be fine if we take a peek. If anything, there's like not enough padding, and we could make these a little bit bigger. We could probably make these guys, if we come in here, instead of 20, maybe try like 22 by 22 or something. Although 20 by 20 might actually be what Twitter uses, but we can make it slightly bigger. I think that looks pretty good. So now obviously if it's active or deactive, we want to be able to show like it in color or not color. So basically what we'd want to do is get rid of this filter here, copy this, and we'd want to put a class on this. So class name equal to, and this class name would be different depending on whether or not we'd have to probably figure out or determine which one of these was clicked on to determine which one is active or whatnot. But what we could say is, how do we want to do this? So we can say class name, because I don't want to put active on all of these, obviously. So I'm just trying to think how I want to do this for the time being. And we probably should have returned like a name or something, but we could have an ID on here equal to the, we can also have the index. We have an ID equal to the index. And we could also keep track. What's this problem? ID is not assignable type string. Well, index shouldn't be a string. So I have to put index first. Map index comma image. You should be able to, there it goes. I guess you just have to index first. Okay, that's fine. And we'd be able to know which one we click on. Again, this is going to deal with this, but we can say like, maybe we say set up a use state. So we'll go ahead and say use state, and we'll have to do this. We'll use this for other things as well. So const, we'll say active category, maybe category, and set active category. is equal to use state, and this will be a number, and we'll just start out at like 1 or something. Actually, we'll start out at 0. Actually, no, we will start out at 1, just because whenever you start out, you won't have a recent. And then in here, we'll say if our active category is equal to index, then we'll return a div that looks like this. Else, wait, can we not access active category from here? Because types and string do not overlap. Index is not a string. Why are you saying index is a string? This is what I just tried before and it said index can't be a number. ID is not assignable type string. But index is a number. I'm so confused. Why does it say that the div element is a string or undefined? Why would the ID be a string? Oh, I guess I understand. Shoot. Whatever. We'll just say this. That's kind of annoying. We'll just convert it to a string. It is what it is. I understand now. Okay, I get it. You're gonna... My headphones are gonna die. I don't care. So... we have our index. We'll have to deal with a couple things, I guess, whenever we actually go through and set it. But if this, we'll say emoji dash drop down dash category dash active, I guess. And then otherwise we'll return inactive. And then this will be inactive. Let's copy this. So if it's active and we go into our CSS, actually, if it's active, nothing will happen, right? So I guess we'll have to do some other styling as well. But if it's inactive, copy this. If it's inactive, we want, whoops, filter, grayscale, 100%. Then we also need to do like a couple other things. So I guess it also has like a border bottom if it's active. So we can go ahead and do that. Border bottom. And maybe it's not a border, but we'll just try border bottom. And this will be like 1px solid. And it's going to be Twitter blue. So let's grab Twitter blue from our app.tsx, our Twitter blue. Although I don't really think that this is a border bottom because it has rounded edges. So actually I think it's going to be a, I think it's actually supposed to be like something else. I can't think of what the word is, but whatever. I think it's supposed to be like a div or something, but yeah, so that's too small. Let's try like 2px maybe. 2px solid. That's also, dang, that's like a pretty thick line. Maybe 4px. So I think what this should actually end up being is, it's not wide enough either. Interesting. Twitter's is way wider. Okay, but at least it's something. I'm not concerned about this yet, because I just want to get us showing some emojis. So that's probably fine for now. Inside of here, so we have our categories. We have active, we have inactive. And then we'll need an on click on this and a couple other things, but it's fine. So inside of our emoji selector, you know what? Shoot. we need to go ahead and do this. We need another div. Class name equal to emoji. Although, never mind, because the selection will do this work for us, I think. I think we're fine. Although we do need a title at the top of each one of these. So we will have like an H1 or an H2 or something. Last name equal to emoji drop down selector section title, and this one will be smileys and people. We do need that as well, and I'll do the rest of these later. I'm just trying to get this kind of working. So this part is gonna have a specific height, so let's go ahead and let's grab the specific height really quick. So this section itself, not going to tell me how tall it is it? Well, how tall is this section? This section is 61. The top section was 52 plus 32, right? So let me do some maths here. So 52, let's see, calculator, 52 plus, it was like 32, I think, plus 32, and then the lower one is 61, so you go to 145, and then the total guy, total size of it was 400, so 400 minus 145 minus 145 is 255. Okay, so this emoji drop down select will be 255 high, so copy this, come in here, dot this. So width will be 100%, height will be 240 or 255 px. We're gonna have a overflow. Y will be scroll because it's definitely gonna overflow, and I think that's all we really need. So right now we're not gonna see any difference. Actually, you can already see we have, I spelled smileys wrong, but you can see we already have the scroll like we expect. Cool, it's already working. That's what we like to see. Awesome. And we need to do some more filtering and stuff. So again, I'm gonna probably work off stream on getting the filtering working. So that looks pretty good. We're going to deal with getting this nice and correct. But let's go ahead and come back in here. So now this section, this emoji selector section, I'm not sure we're gonna do the part where there's a couple of things I'm not sure how we're gonna do. So it'll be interesting. We're going to probably change some styles and stuff around. So it'll be interesting. But anyway, so this section, we're going to copy this, and we might need to add some stuff to this emoji as well. We'll see what happens here. But do this, and we'll say width 100%. Oops, 100%. Height will just fit content, and then we're gonna say display flex, and we're gonna go ahead and justify content evenly. Space even. We can align item center, sure. And then we're going to go ahead and say flex wrap, and we're gonna wrap. So that should at least start wrapping it a little bit. Now, Twitter has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Twitter has 9 per row, so we'll have to see how this kind of shakes out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So way too many per row. So we need to kind of size this up, and we can size it up, and actually we can take a look how big Twitter's is. So Twitter's is 31 by 28. So let's say 31. I'm gonna say 31 by 31 or 32 by 32. Also, I don't know why the heck these came up here. Oh, you know what? How do we want to deal with that? Shoot. What we might have to do is we might have to say div class name equal to emoji drop down selector emoji wrapper. We might have to grab this guy and throw it straight into the wrapper instead. And then we might have to go ahead and copy this wrapper like so. Whoops. Copy the wrapper. Come in here. Do this. And then we'll get rid of the display stuff. Like so. And do that. And then throw it in there. And let's see how this looks now. Okay, so it's not working. What's going on with this now? Emoji drop down wrapper. Do we need to say width 100% maybe? Width 100%. Oops. And we'll go ahead and say height display fit content as well, just for the heck of it. I wonder what's going on with this one. Let's see. Is it because the emojis are like 100% for some reason? So drop down selector. Oh, it's not even. Oh wait, let's go into section. Yeah, for some reason, let's go ahead and hard refresh. For some reason, I think it's cached here. No, did I not save? Gotta save first. There we go. That's better. That's what we want to see. Now, each emoji needs to be bigger. So let's go and grab the emoji. So actually, we'll say font size and then also, but we want to make the actual emoji div. We'll say height 32px with 32px. And let's just space it out better. So it's nicely spaced. We need some padding on the left and right, it appears. And that seems like still more than 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's 9, okay. It's a little bit different order. I think we definitely have some extra ones in here. And obviously these ones are a little bit scuffed because they don't work. So again, I'm gonna make a custom thing. So let's try to change the font size. So font size 20px might be a little bit big, but let's just see what it looks like, because this is just text. So yeah, that made it slightly big, but I don't think it's that much too big. So let's try like 18px. Okay, so 18px apparently it's still too big. So 16px. I'm just testing some stuff out here, tweaking it. Okay. And then we need like cursor pointer on these guys. Cursor pointer. We need there's like a hover effect, I'm pretty sure, on these. Actually, it's not cursor pointer, but there is a hover effect. And honestly, we might not even need font size 16. But it does look like there's like some sort of padding on this. Of like maybe like 4px or something. Because there's quite a bit of space to the left. Like that might not even be enough. Let's try like 8px. Highly doubt it's 12. But you never know. Yeah, now this is too wide. But what if we also say overflow x hidden? So if we come back up here, overflow x hidden, and just get rid of that. Might also help. And if it overflows with these silly ones, whatever. Honestly, it might be 12. It might be padding 12, which is crazy to say considering how small this is, but we'll try padding 12 and see how that looks. Honestly, I think that looks right. And then we need a, actually, do you want, say, let's say cursor, cursor, I forget what the auto is, cursor colon, it might be auto. Let me see what the other options are. It's not weights, it's not resize, it's not text, not pointer. It might just be auto, honestly. Because right now it's kind of like, actually it's default, I think, cursor default. But I think that should fix that, because this was looking a little bit wonky. There we go. And then we also have a hover effect on this, so let's go ahead and copy this and go ahead and paste it. Hover. So this has a border radius on it of like maybe like 2 pixels or something, and then a background color of RGBA, and we'll say 0, whoops, 0, 0, 0.2. It might actually be like 0.1. We'll see how dark this is. So let's see. That's way too dark. So like 0.1. Also, I just realized that it's not centered. So each of these emojis needs a display flex on it. Display flex. Whoops. And this might change a bit. Display flex, justify content, center, and align items in the center. This might change a bunch of stuff. Okay. So yeah, we want this to be, I think that our rounding is nice. Let's go ahead and change this font size back to 18 now that we have this kind of centered. And I think that's a lot better. Now this is still kind of scuffed, so we'll have to fix that up. And honestly, we might be able to go up to 20, but you can definitely tell that this is using some images instead of the emojis. The only issue is going to be that the way that Twitter works, I'm not sure how we're going to deal with everything else, but I'll make it work, I guess. So this is looking better. So let's fix the smileys part. So we'll say, let's see here. It says smileys and people, and let's go ahead. I still cannot type. Oh my goodness. Smileys and people, okay. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's comment, copy this, save it really quick. And this goes here, I believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a margin 0. And we're gonna go ahead and give this a padding of 12px. Padding, actually just a padding on the left of 12px. I don't want it on the other side, so padding left 12px. And that should kind of line it up with this, although it's not lined up because there's also some other stuff going on here. So let's give it some extra padding, because it seems like this kind of it doesn't quite line up, but I still want this a little bit more, so maybe padding 16, just to give it a little extra oomph here. There, I kind of like that better. And then we can see the font size and everything possibly. So font size is 17, and then some other stuff. So go ahead and say font size is 17px, and then font weight maybe is 600, and that might look good. Cool. So there's that. Seems a little bit small, but I'm gonna trust. I'm actually gonna see if I can bump this up to like 800. That might look too chunky, but we'll see. Actually, I think it looks good. Cool. So we got our smileys and people. Now the thing is this guy actually is like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but like if we do position, it's supposed to be like sticky to the top, basically. And then so top should be like 0. So it should be sticky to the top 0. Now the only issue, so it does work. Okay. So now the issue is that whenever we also go into another section, it's supposed to be unsticky and then start going up with the top. So that's going to be some logic we're going to have to do. That'll be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a width on this. So width 100%. And I'm also going to add a background color of white so that it matches. And now it should stick to the top. Maybe we do want some padding on the bottom. Let's go ahead and say padding 16px on this, all around padding. So padding, and then we're gonna change the padding on this guy, wherever the other one was. So padding left 12px, and whoops, padding on the right, which I don't think this even matters unless we say justify space between. And then we'll actually see what it looks like. So if we do this, it looks the same. But now we got some extra space in there. And that might be aggressive on the left and right, on the top and bottom. So realistically, you might want like 16px and then like 10px or something. And let's just see if that's even the right order. It's not, so it should be 10px. I always forget which order this goes in. 10px and 16px. Yo, my bad. I didn't see your comment, Braku. I am in flow state right now. So, I think that looks decent. Now, keep in mind again, these are kind of scuffed right now. I'm going to make a better version of this JSON that has only what Twitter uses. But, it's getting somewhere. And the good thing now, well, these don't work. But the good thing now, also this is a little bit scuffed whenever we have it full screen. So that's also not great. But now we'd want like on clicks on each of these so that whenever we click on it, it adds it to whatever. So we'll have to figure out how to do an on click. That's fine. But the cool thing is now we can basically copy paste this here, right? We can copy paste this guy, and we can, instead of saying smileys and people, now we can say animals and nature. I don't know how horrible this is going to be, but animals and nature. And then here, instead of generate smileys and people, we can generate animals and nature and save that. And now if we come back in here, if we scroll down, see, this is the part that it's going to get scuffed probably. Animals. Oh, it just no way that just works. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it would. Animals and nature. And whenever we cross over into animals and nature, we need to switch this, which will be interesting, but I think it might not be too bad. So then after animals and nature, we can go ahead and copy and paste this again, right? And then now we can change this one to food and drink. So this is why I wanted to get this set up, because I knew this part would be basically cascade. So now this would be generate food and drink, right? And then we can copy and paste this again. And I know this could be its own components, yada, 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 but it is what it is. I don't know why emoji's broken here, unless it doesn't return something. I might have to go back and update this to make sure it returns a string array, but that'll be easy. Shoot, so I have food and drink here twice. So what's after food and drink? Activity. So this should be activity. Or I just straight up scuff this. Let's copy this. I just straight up scuff this, I guess. And hopefully this isn't completely broken. So now this will be activity. And then inside here, this will be generate activity. So generate activity or activities. So that one was fine. And then we'll copy this again. So then it'll be travel and places. Yep, that was travel and places. Just double checking that these actually are correct. So now travel and places, and then here will be generate travel and places. Well, and then we'll have our objects, so copy, paste, and then this will be objects, and then this will be generate objects. I have no idea how we're gonna do the other one, which is recent. Maybe we do some sort of cookie or something that just kind of keeps track of the last 5 or something. I don't know what we're gonna do. Next one is symbols. That's why I'm leaving that one for like last, basically. Generate symbols, and then we need to import this. And finally, we have one more, which is flags. So now we'll say flags, and then generate flags. And then we need to see what's going on with this one. So it's saying emoji is not a string, I'm sure. So generate food and drink. Let's check this one. So return food and drink. Food and drink is equal to emojis.filter. We need to return emoji.emoji. Okay. And generate flags also. Oh, doesn't have an issue, just forgot to update it. So now this should be good, I believe, if we take a peek. Now we have our smileys and people. And these have extras because we need to filter some of these. And then although some of these I feel like should probably be activities. It's like these biking and stuff. I don't know if those... Yes, so these are counted under activities, like the canoeing and surfing and all of that. So we need to move some of those. Amherst nature, activity, travel and places. Travel and places is a little bit scuffed. I'm pretty sure these belong under objects. So some of these aren't perfect. Again, I just wanted something to get started with. So, and flags is missing a ton apparently. So flags is scuffed. Either that or... Yeah, I have to look into flags, but this is something. It's somewhat working. It's getting there. This is what I wanted to kind of get to. So we got our flags in here, or we got emojis in here like we expect. So that's good. So let's maybe work on the hover effect on this guy, and we can maybe do the search or something. I'm not sure. Whoops. And we might need to make this top part a little bit bigger, but it is what it is. So now whenever we hover over one of the categories, so let's go ahead and say dot, we want on this emoji dash drop down dash categories dash inactive. So whenever is that spelled right? I think so. Hover. Let me see. It is a cursor pointer. So cursor pointer has a background color of like RGBA 0, 0, whoops, 0.1 or 0.2. Down here I did 0.1, so we'll do 0.1 again. We'll have a border radius of probably the same, like 2px or 4px or something. Down here I did 2px, so maybe we try 2px. And the thing is we don't want grayscale. So let's see if that does what we expect. Okay, so there's no hover effect going on. There's not even a cursor pointer. Interesting. Did I spell all of this right? Emoji drop down categories inactive. Make sure I spelled this right. I did not spell something right. Let's try again. Okay, so it didn't get rid of the grayscale. What we say filter grayscale 0%. Filter grayscale 0%. Does that override it? Yeah, there we go. Now we need to make the divs bigger, I think, because I don't think these divs are big enough. Let me check what the divs look like here. The divs are 35-ish. And I don't think these divs are 35. These divs are 32. So let's try 35 or drop down categories. Yeah, so although I think we have a height and width on here. So if we come up here, yeah, we have a width 22. So we want like width to be like 35. And 35, and this probably be better off inside of the actual class, but whatever. We want this to be like 35 by 35, which also means that we need I'm gonna do this. What's up? Has YouTube been recommending you a bunch of smaller? You know what? I noticed that as well, Dominic. And I was wondering something similar. And how's it going? So I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of this and this. And then I'm going to make a new one called category active. I'm going to go ahead and grab this out. I'm going to grab this out. I'm going to grab these out. And grab this out. And then this is going to also have category dash active. And then, or actually, I'll call it emoji active, actually, just so it fits. Emoji active and emoji inactive. Okay, so back in here. So now we'll have emoji active and emoji inactive, like so. And then this will also be emoji inactive. And we're gonna have our, I've already forgot what I called that. It's like dot emoji dash drop down dash categories maybe. Let me double check. Categories, just category. Okay, so here we'll have a width of 35 px. Whoops, that's not 35 px. Height of 35 px. Display of flex. Justify content of center. And align items of center. And then the only issue is maybe we'll have a padding of like 4 px or something. It might need to be more than 4 px. Yeah, I've kind of been going through and I've seen a bunch of smaller stuff and I've watched a couple things, so it's just interesting. So yeah, and maybe we try like 4 px padding and maybe that'll make the background image a little bit smaller. It did not. Oh, it's because we need the background, I forget what this one's called. It's like background stretch or something. Shoot, I forgot what this is called. Do I still have it? CSS, make background, whoops. Image fit. It's like something cover, background size cover maybe. Although, ooh, we do want background size. Let's try that. Background size, whoops, background size will be 20 px. Although I don't know if that's gonna work with, I just realized I don't think we want display flex. I actually don't think we want display flex. I think we want this, and then background center, background position center center. So background position center center. And then we want no repeat. Background background repeats, no repeat. We might need to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. That looks a lot better. And then now the only thing is that we kind of want, and I'm getting a little bit finicky here. We kind of want, and does this need to be inside the map or outside the map? Trying to think how I want to do this here. We almost need to wrap this whole thing in another div, although we might just say YOLO and not care about the rounded edge. Because I'm not that concerned about it. Although it does look even thicker than this, so that's 4. It looks like it's more like 6 or 8 or something, like super thick. So let's try 6 on that one. That might be more like it. And then maybe let's get rid of the padding. I don't know if padding even actually does anything. Does it look like it does anything? No, it doesn't. The only thing is, honestly, I think we're gonna want to do what I was thinking. So I'm just gonna get rid of that padding and we'll work on that later. I think for the most part, this is fine. I think this is looking good so far. Obviously, it'd be nice if, and we might also just really quickly want a little bit more. Well, this didn't work, so I'm gonna say 4px on this. We also want a little bit more space and stuff around like the categories. So this, oops, can I get this to click off? There we go. Just taking a look at what Twitter looks like. So the bottom of the top, which I didn't even do the top yet, which we could do really quick. So grab the drop down top. The drop down top, it'll be here, has a border bottom 1px solid. It's going to be probably the light gray color. So let's grab the gray color from our app. App.tsx is going to be this. It's probably actually technically, I'm going to try the gray. I don't know which one it actually is. If this matches, it's good. And then we need width 100%. Width 100%. And then height will be fit content. If I could type, it's getting a little bit late here. And then maybe padding. It doesn't have very much padding on it, really. So I'm not even going to add padding. Yeah, there we go. And that looks about right. Now, the top guy needs a little bit of space. And whenever we click on this, it seems like we're clicking through it, which could be a problem. But it is what it is. So I think that's where we're going to leave it today. This bottom part is going to have some stuff added to it so that it has basically whichever emoji you're looking at, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to like figure out like anytime the mouse moves to get the ID of the element it's above, maybe inside of this list here. And then whenever we click on these, we want to be able to navigate to the different sections. So that'll also be interesting. And the biggest thing is I want to get a list of these actual emojis that they have here. That way I have access to the proper ones. But I think I am going to wrap it up there. And then Tuesday will probably be my last stream for the year, just because of holidays. I have family coming and stuff like that. So obviously I want to spend time with family instead of working on this. And then after families and holidays are over, I'm trying to get wrapped up and get all my videos kind of put together. That way I can upgrade my computer. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So again, thank you all for watching, and whoever stops by after the fact. This has been Ethan Coder, and I'll see you guys in the next one.